Steven's studio at the Duplex.
The Double S.
Thank you, Spandu Ballet, as always, for playing us in. And you know what? I think from here on out, Colton, you know, you are just going to be a staple of the show. You know, we love having you.
Well, you know, there's got to be 3 staples to hold that page in, so.
Precisely 3? The page will fall apart if there's not 3?
Yeah.
Well, there's 3 of us, so I had to say at least.
Hey, the more the merrier. You know, the more staples, the more
the
secure.
stronger it is.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Honestly, dude, I love that phrase. The more the merrier. I say that phrase so often. That's almost like one of the token platitudes that I live by.
It's true, but
You know
not
what I
for
mean?
everything. It's true in a lot of scenarios, but not for everything.
Yeah, I mean, I also like being alone and, you know, kind of doing my own thing or,
Yeah.
you know.
I
but
was...
when it comes to hanging out or collaborating and especially with making something, I always think like the more minds
Yes.
that you can put together in a place, in a room, and just kind of work on something and hammer it out. I mean, in many cases, you know, you do need a team. You
Absolutely.
know? I mean, the smaller people, you know, it's not going to be, you know, as strong as a group. You know,
Right.
The wolf pack is real.
But on the other side of that coin, you know, if I'm on a long, squeaky, old, rickety wooden bridge, you know, maybe more isn't the merrier, you know what I'm saying?
Wow. Yeah. See. Wow,
Not every
there you go.
scenario, but a lot of scenarios.
But also,
the more-
quite literally,
more people you got, the faster you'll find a different solution, a different way over.
I don't think that's true. A lot of people are useless. But hey, the more the merrier.
but we are also.
Hey,
But
okay.
here's the thing, though. This is the catch: is you are grandfathered into the name because you are one of the neighbors. You know,
Yes,
you
sir.
literally live
Across
next
the
door.
street.
Right. I mean, it's only right. It would be.
It's not
It'd
some
be a
bullshit,
crime. It would
you
be a
Some
family
random dude from down the
tragedy.
block.
Yeah.
You know, he's next door. So I mean, we have to.
Yeah.
You know, it does feel right.
It
And,
does.
You know.
The couch feels like it was meant for me to be sitting here in this studio.
Awesome. Yeah. And I think we've come a long way. I really do. We started in 2023. We're chiseling it out, and I mean, we're.
Started in 2023.
Making a
Had
lot
just
of
turned
hits.
23. You know, I don't fuck with minors, but my Glock is 17. That's all I'm gonna say. If you know, you know.
Shout out to Jordan Year. If you haven't seen it, me and Zevin made a music video.
It's a ball. I mean, you can tell it's 2 goofballs having a good time, and you know,
Plenty of laughs to be
I
had.
love it. You know, y'all can hate on it all you want. That video is fire. The lyrics are better than half of today's, you know, songs. So
That was our first upload on YouTube.
it was
First one.
Coming out the
100
gate
views.
strong.
Yeah, honestly, we're about to,
counting.
Mr.
And
Beast, you better
counting.
break the algorithm at this point. You better be scared,
We
boy.
did triple digits?
Triple D's.
Damn.
I mean,
Triple
shit,
Ds.
double D's are nice, but triple it up and you're going crazy.
Hey, we'll take what we can get.
Hey,
Back.
ain't that right?
So I actually have a quick little. I thought that this would be fun. So I actually started listening to. I think we were talking about this on the last episode about morning routines, and I kind of started my own little morning routine
Oh, yeah?
where instead of waking up to a buzzer on my alarm clock, radio, I actually listen to the radio. I have it set to a radio station, and I wake up to
That plays.
WNPR, Wisconsin National Public Radio, and you know, they play just it's news. It's like talk radio, and it's so soothing. I actually set it 15 minutes before I want to wake up, so I'm laying in bed listening to the news.
You are
You know,
so old,
I
but
was
respect
gonna
that.
say,
I respect
dude,
it.
That brings me
It's
back
great.
to what we were talking about the last time, is that you are such an old soul. Like, you like
likes
reading
the
the newspaper.
newspaper.
We come in, he's reading
Yeah.
the newspaper,
Shout out
and
New
he
York
wants
Times.
to
I
wake
still-
up to the
I read
news.
the
like-
newspaper every single
Shout out
Sunday.
New York Times and shout out my
Absolutely.
New York Slimes. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, you know, the
Keep
New
it
York
100.
Times. But here's
Nah,
the thing.
face ass.
I don't just read it for the news. Actually, that's probably the section that I graze over the most.
It's all the little extras, like
But you just get so many
Tidbits.
nuggets of culture where, I mean, you're really subscribing to a little window. You know, I mean, I've discovered all my favorite podcasts, all my favorite TV shows. I've actually learned about bands that I've ended up purchasing tickets to go see and are now like one of my favorite groups of all time, Japanese Breakfast.
Oh,
From the New York
absolutely.
Times. And they have so many cool write-ups where you figure out...
that was
yeah.
a fire show.
And you found out about a lot of this from the radio, you said?
No, so the radio...
From the
alright,
New York Times.
So get
Oh,
this.
from the New York Times, okay.
Different thing. But yeah, we'll go back to WNPR, So, they talk about, just national news, not so much local, which is great. And I was intrigued. There was this one radio show where there was actually the 3 best first date questions, like listed, like things you should ask for a first date. Because you should treat it like an interview.
I guarantee you, one of the questions is, what do you like to do for fun? I guarantee you that is one of the questions, or what is your hobbies?
Are you ready for this?
Yep.
This was written by a psychologist, like to really get to know a person.
That's one of the questions. I know it's on there.
I hope it's not bland. I'm assuming.
Okay, the first question is, who is the most influential person in your life?
Okay, so they're in-depth questions. Okay,
I'm glad to hear that.
A psychologist better give me a fucking answer like that, cause shit.
Right. Okay, and then so kind of like what you said. The second question, biggest passion.
Yeah. Okay. Naturally.
What do you care about?
Naturally.
What do you strive about?
What are you into?
I mean, for me, right now, it's the podcast. I've been putting a lot of eggs in my basket. And that's just the way that it is. And I want to be seen kind of broadly, and in that aspect, I think going down the podcast route has been really good for us. Quite honestly,
the chicks are chirping out of those eggs.
Quite honestly,
I think we've advanced in a short period, and it's only further up the totem pole from here.
And who would you say was the most influential person in your life?
Was or is? You said was.
That is a very...
Was would be my grandfather, who is dead.
Okay.
Is, in my opinion, and if it's guy or girl or they, them, whatever it may be, whoever it may be, whatever they identify as, I would say for me personally, it's in my life at this moment, it's hard to say. I feel like I learned a lot from my uncle. I feel like both the people I learned the most from were dead. So my Uncle Jeff, who taught me bartending and like a lot of other things, and my grandpa, who I was really close with and like admired a lot when I was younger.
Wow.
I would say those two people in my life, like when I actually think of like who taught me the most, like who, like what lessons and like memories like do I hold the most dearest and influential, you could say.
That's interesting you say that, because my answer to that question, he's also passed. And his name was Julian Torres. Shout out Pancho. And, there's just so much wisdom that has been imparted from me. I mean, that man taught me how to drive, got me high for the first time, smoking weed, with my sister.
Made me do drugs for the first time. God, I love him.
What a boy.
But more or less taught me how to be a man, So that was just...
Taught you how to nut up or shut up.
Kind of crazy you said, people that have passed.
And I also think what comes with that is... I'm sure those people are wise and have their expertise, before they pass. But I think you don't appreciate someone, or maybe you don't have like a certain perspective of someone until after they pass. Then you start to appreciate things you didn't notice before.
That's true.
And I think you could say that about anyone that has passed. Like I'm sure after you die, when you actually like think about that person like in more deeply, like you think of things and like you realize things that you didn't see beforehand.
All of the passing moments that you just looked
that felt like just random everyday moments, but then you actually stop and think back and you remember, certain things.
I went to a funeral a couple weeks ago, and
same.
We were outside in front of the funeral home drinking beers out of one of my buddy's cars, and me and 5 other of my friends just cheers, all put our drinks together. And one of my friends, he actually said something that really resonated with me, because we cheers, our dead friend, and then he said, also to the ones who are still with us. Because everyone always forgets that.
And you need to appreciate the ones that you have around you.
I mean, it just can't be too late where, you really start to appreciate.
You only think about it.
And that's what I learned.
When there's no more time left to appreciate.
That was what I learned first with my grandpa when he died. When I was a freshman, I believe it was 2014, if I'm correct, when he died, or at least right around that time frame. And then I was reminded again, and even it wasn't even reminded. It was more just like, okay, like, you kind of learned this, but like it happening a second time, like actually made you really hit and resonated is when Jeff died, because I was like, I knew he got COVID, and like I didn't think anything of it. I was like, okay, yeah, he's in for a surgery, like he's gonna be back. Next thing I knew, you know what I mean? I for whatever reason I didn't even think or like fathom.
I got the call to tell you.
I couldn't even like fathom like that. I didn't even think it was a possibility that like the surgery could fail. Like I don't know.
It seemed
Likewise.
Yeah,
It did.
It did. So yeah, and like I said, after his funeral, that's when I realized like wow, like obviously I knew like it was serious, but like I never even expected this was a possibility, let alone like what would happen. And it's like it really is like one day someone could be fine, you talk with them, and like maybe something happens and you might not see them again. So that's why it really is like. You got to appreciate them for who they are, like the wisdom and just like the good times, the bad times, and just just the company in general. And like obviously, the more like time goes on, the older you get, the more friends you lose, the more friends you gain over time. Like you start to realize these things as you get older. The world is a bigger perspective and a bigger place as you get older.
That kind of plays into something I've really been trying to do this year, specifically in terms of like making the most of our time and really just making memories rather than like always focusing on your nearsighted goals or even just whatever random things are taking up your time. But even just like I was thinking the show that we went to, like when we went to see Japanese Breakfast and the other couple bands at that small place in Madison, I was just like, normally that's probably something I would have just kind of like looked past and been like, it's a weird night, kind of last minute, like I'm probably gonna pass on it. But I was just like so glad that I went because we had like such a good time, such a just like crazy adventure getting into there, and
Dude,
then
absolutely.
just like
That was one of my favorite nights.
And speaking of which,
that was so much fun. We didn't get let in because
we
the
did.
bouncer
We
said
got
we were
kicked
at
out.
Capacity, so we had to go in from the back
balcony. And they left the door unlocked on that second flight of stairs.
Dude, and we watched the performance from the catwalk. And
it was
to
epic.
Me
it was epic.
The perfect place to see it.
Speaking of unexpected favorite nights that were spontaneous and not planned, that also involved Steven. You weren't there for this one, unfortunately. But the night me and Steven and Courtney and Bridget got so fucking drunk.
Oh
so drunk. That was one of the times I've gotten most drunk. That was top 5 when you had the knife. I had the pictures of the knife
falling backwards.
Like you know what night I'm talking about. That night before we got blackout drunk, he had said like, "Oh, like do you want to do you want to come?"
Yes.
Yeah, I have a picture.
Yeah,
you were drunk as fuck. I have a picture of it. Anyways,
Okay.
before you got blacked out, let me get to the story.
I think,
No, you were not cooking
no.
shit. You were just drunk and fucked up and had a knife.
So
in
the
your
video
hand.
looked like.
All right, let me get to the story. God damn it. All right. So, moral of the story is you said before you got super blacked out, you're like, oh, like you and Sydney should come like to Valen's like Dine's Day. Me and Courtney had plans, like we're going to this dinner, and you guys invited me, and that was like we were drunk as fuck. So I was like, yeah. And I remember waking up the next day like, holy fuck, I'm trash. But I ended up going. Moral of the story, I ended up going, and that was a really fucking amazing restaurant.
I
remember
that's how I invited you.
Exactly, and that's why I said. Speaking of unexpected like favorite memories, that was one of mine. Obviously, you guys had yours together. That was one of mine. And like that came from just saying yes to something. Like at the time, I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll say yes. Like didn't even have a second thought. And when I woke up hungover, I was like, oh god, that sounds terrible. But I went anyways. And to my surprise, that's one of the most fond memories I have with you, actually.
Wow.
It's similar
So
to like
sometimes you just gotta,
Yeah. That was,
do it.
Yeah, we went to Les Sud for restaurant week.
It was
3 courses.
delicious. I had pictures.
Got a bottle of wine. And then afterwards, we went to Taylor's housewarming party.
And then they wanted us to go to the club, and we were like,
so
no.
Full
Yeah.
after eating a course-style meal.
I remember Steven being like, come in, this after party, this is the after party, this is all I'm doing. He's like, this is good for me tonight. I'm not going to the club. Like,
everyone was trying to go to Berlin and, trying to shake their ass.
it was a fucking Sunday, too. Remember? I'm like, I have work tomorrow. Like, what?
Get on the first flight home, first train home. Anything.
Animals.
After a big French bistro dinner.
Yeah, it was done.
I'm thinking of a nap.
Clubs is out of the question.
No.
It's just,
Well, I know that's one of your favorite things, but definitely out of the question for me. But is there any other things, cooking in the pot? I mean, what either one of you?
Well, I want to finish my last question.
Yes.
But wait, to go back, what was I doing with the knife?
Like I said, you were very inebriated, intoxicated, fucked up, whichever phrase you like to put it. But yeah, you were just like this. Like you were just.
I thought there was a video where he was holding it and fell backwards, holding it like forward.
No, it was like a picture. It was a live photo. It wasn't like a video of that. But I have a picture. I have pictures. I will show after the podcast. But let's stick with what is that other question that you had that we obviously got on a tangent about?
So all right, the best first date questions according to the psychologist.
Yes.
your biggest passion, your most influential person that has affected you in your life.
And what was yours, by the way? Sorry.
Oh,
Because I didn't get to answer because it just kept moving, so I wasn't gonna speak up. But I would say honestly, it's kind of hard. But unfortunately, it's crazy that I feel like most of the influential people are people who have passed. But I would probably give it to my grandfather. As you said, he takes a high spot, but it's probably my grandmother.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true.
She lived close, and we honestly, like, from the get-go, we're kind of dropped at her doorstep.
Yeah, I feel like she's
to,
shaking her head at me right now. That
be
I didn't say.
raised-
I'm like this, like, now that I didn't say, I'm like, but I'm sorry.
You picked the grandpa. You picked the grandma.
No, but my grandma was equally.
They
like,
both.
I just
My
didn't think
grandpa
about
Ron
it.
was one of like the most like. He's what I aspire to be as like a true man. I feel like he was like kind, gentle, smart, funny. He was just like felt like such a like warm aura. But my grandmother, she raised 6 kids and like crazy
Damn near
like
raised
poverty,
us growing up
raised
because my
us
mom was
after
always
the
working.
fact,
Yeah.
and just like we grew up
Like
on
you
her
guys were raised by
property.
wolves.
Basically, we're in the woods
Calling at
all
the moon,
all
wolf
the
on
time.
Wall Street, baby.
But yeah, it's probably got to take my grandmother, Sue. I want to get a tattoo of a hummingbird for her because her favorite birds were hummingbirds. I literally
You
the
could
other
do that
day,
because you could have the flower, you could have the hummingbird. That would look low-key
The other
sick.
day, I actually when
That's
I
a
was
good
working,
idea. Write that
in
down.
Whitewater,
Write that down.
I was working at a deck and I was like sitting and I was just like frustrated at myself. I was like, God, I've been here for all week by myself, just working alone. I'm like, I'm getting tired, just frustrated. And all of a sudden, I'm like sitting down on this deck that's like 2 stories up, and a hummingbird flies directly a foot in front of my face. And you know, hummingbirds, like their wings fly so
200
fast that
miles
they
an hour.
can look absolutely stationary in midair. Not moving, they can just stop dead in front of you. And this hummingbird flew a foot in front of my face and just stopped and was flying at me, staring at me for a solid like 15 seconds. And I was just looking at it and I stopped working and I just set my stuff down.
That's
and
crazy.
he moved over a little bit and then he just flew away.
What's crazy is
and
my
I've
grandma
never
was
seen them that close.
My
And I
grandma's
literally thought
favorite
about my
bird,
grandma.
and I agree. Like some
literally
people
was
would say
like,
that's
it's
a
probably my
coincidence,
grandmother.
but that's my
thought.
grandma's favorite bird. She had bird feeders at her house because she loved hummingbirds. Like she talked about them, had like they meant a lot to her. So I feel like I get why Colton's saying like that was even more meaningful. It's because like to the
felt like it
regular
was her
person that's
checking
just
on
a
me.
bird, yeah, but. Because of like the significance, like with like that bird, like in her life, I could see it as being like kind of
I mean, birds don't get that close. I've never seen a bird. The only time I've had a bird that close to me is when one accidentally landed in my hair.
As a nest.
I was
Thought-
outside.
Right.
Thought it was
I was
home.
outside of a Starbucks reading a book.
in a pumpkin spice latte. Come get your da-da-da and the chudda on your.
And a bird straight
Starts
up-
fluffing your
Dude,
hair.
I had long ass hair too.
Oh
This
my
was
God.
like, like 2017, and a bird straight up like actually landed on top of my head.
That's when I knew.
That's awesome.
I gotta call the barber. Like,
And then
these birds are nesting in my shit.
I went to the
literally.
sports clips.
Yeah.
Immediately. I watched the game and I got a fade.
Yeah.
All right, so last question, and we'll get into the next topic. Quirky habits you have.
Oh,
You can go first on that one.
quirky habits. I feel
Quirky
like,
habits.
honestly, I feel like the longer you get to know someone, the more you find out that every human being is like all a bundle of their own quirky habits.
Mm-hmm.
But regardless, I definitely feel like we're all kind of got our own weird shit going on. But if it comes to ones that immediately come to mind, I feel like a lot of the time I just get sudden like intrusive thoughts or urges to make random noises.
God damn it,
or,
that
like,
was mine.
bird
I was hoping you
calls,
didn't
or,
say
like,
that.
Random like monster noises or just like
Really?
Yeah.
dinosaur sounds. Just like,
I'm guilty of that too.
and it's random as fuck. Random times I can be in the shower and just like wash my hair, and then all of a sudden I just feel the urge to let out a "Rah!" or some stupid shit.
Yeah, I'm
It's
so.
just like it's a
Guilty.
weird thing, and yeah, that's probably one of the weirder ones.
Okay. I kind of do that with singing songs.
Oh,
I know,
I
I
do that
always
too.
hear yo
I
ass
do
in
that
the
too.
shower.
No, I swear, I go
I sing
through like
songs a
a
lot.
catalog of like the 100 top songs of like the 2000s to
Mozart.
whenever. No, like I swear, like the other day I had Holla Back Girl in my head for whatever reason. Do a couple bars of that, all of a sudden, I'm singing Thunderstruck for no goddamn reason, Actually, you know
Singing
what I read?
Anaconda like his life
so
depends on it.
You know what I read? There was a song, Mambo No. 5, that almost got Stephen King divorced because the way that he writes his novels.
Goodness.
You know Stephen King, right?
Yeah, of course.
You know he wrote it.
All the scary.
Misery
Misery
was a scary movie.
Thinner.
That was a good thriller.
Cujo, great movie, Killer Dog. And yeah, he's just made so many crazy books, but the way that he writes them is even crazier because he listens to one song on repeat the entire time he's doing it.
That's some shit I would do.
That's some crazy. Like, put yourself in a really crazy mindset.
That's some shit I would do. That's what Kobe Bryant used to do. He used to listen to Michael Myers before the game. The do. He used to listen to that every fucking game. Literally, pull up that clip right now.
Wait, Michael Myers from Halloween?
Yes.
Really?
Kobe Bryant. Look it up right now. Look it up right now.
All right.
Kobe. But yeah, Colton. While he's looking that up, tell me what are some things cooking in the stew for this week? What do you got? What little projects? Plans, dates?
Wait, I found it.
Okay, great. We'll get back to that.
All right, put a pin in it.
It should be a clip of him talking about that's what he listens to.
I've said this before. I used to play the Halloween theme song over and over and over in my headphones, and it was important that it was Michael Myers because the mask itself was void of emotion. It has nothing to do with pressure. It has nothing to do with hype. Has nothing to do with camaraderie.
It's getting into that mode.
And I will listen to that song.
That's insane.
Over and over again.
That's what you do when you're insane about your craft. So for Stephen King, it's his writing. For Kobe Bryant, he did the same thing. It's basketball. I mean, like I said, that's some shit I'd be doing. I listen to the same song over and over and over because it helps. Just like every beat of every beat to that song. Like I'll listen to the same song that's 1 minute and 30.
Song, he's been this way since early high school. It's like all of a sudden
call me Stephen King, baby.
3 to 5 days from
your name's Stephen, but I'm the king. Fucking put them together.
You dropped your crown.
Hey, I'll get a new one. I'm top G.
I feel like I used to, back when I was buying CDs, like, you used to live with songs a lot more. Now it's so easy to just...
Digital.
It's always, endless variety.
Of just stuff pumped in.
Where I don't really do that as much as I used to.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I should start trying that again.
Well...
He's got results.
For you...
Stuff cooking in the pot.
Yes.
I will say something that I didn't think I would be undertaking, but I am now due to a random kind of instance. My boss is a big fish tank guy, He's done saltwater tanks, freshwater tanks, big ones, small ones, and he had this little cube one, like a 3-gallon little cube in his basement, and he was like, you know what? I like fish tanks so much that I want to get you started. Even though you don't want to, and I made it clear. I was like, I don't think I'm interested. I don't want to do that. I'm not going to take care of it. It is what it is. He was like, you know what? I'll give you this tank.
3 clownfish later.
Exactly. He's like, I'll buy.
And you're looking like a clown.
I'm just kidding. He said, long story short, he set me up a whole tank. All of this fucking got me this grass, this moss, a little fucking bridge. So I put that shit in there, like landscaping it. I felt like I needed one of those little rakes for like the Zen garden or like a bonsai tree. That's how it feels to me.
You were invested. 10 minutes
I was.
in. You were
I had
sold.
tweezers with my moss, placing that shit on super glue on my bridge. And you know what? I'm gonna flood it, put water in it in like a week. And then after 2 weeks, put some fish in there, and then hopefully I won't have to do anything but feed them every
You'll have
couple
to clean
days.
The tank too.
No, I won't, because the fish, they're
eat the algae.
No, the algae. There shouldn't be a lot of algae because it's just gonna be a couple fish, and the plants basically.
The fish poop.
Yeah, but the plants are gonna absorb the poop, and then the fish are gonna eat the plants. So the poop feeds the plants, and it's gonna be an ecosystem.
Does it have
it will have a small
engine?
filter. It'll have a small filter. Yes.
Because if it's just
they'll definitely die. Yeah.
Yes,
Still
it's not
water.
going to be still water. No.
Okay.
No. But yeah, so you know what? It's going to be a little adventure, but I'm going to undertake it. And
Are you worried about the
setting it
cats
up.
eating your fish? I would definitely be worried about that.
I'm going to put it up on a shelf where they hopefully can't get it.
Oh, they're going to make it their life's
There's like a little
mission.
glass shelf thing that goes over it, so I'm hoping that I can adjust it.
Just think of Nancy. Remember when we came home and our goldfish were dead in middle school?
Gone.
Fish was, I was like, why is Nancy licking her chops? Why are your whiskers wet? Where's my goldfish? Oh.
Empty tank.
What's your goldfish name?
Fuck.
Oh my god!
See,
it was
this ain't
something
know we're
good,
brothers.
it was
Like,
something
I
good.
love how,
Yeah,
like, we
both can't remember it. It's like, fuck.
we got half a brain
It was a
between
fat,
us.
and that goldfish was the only fish that survived out of like 20.
He's
and
a
like
warrior. He's
our
huge,
shark,
remember?
we got a shark, an eel,
Dead.
some clownfish,
Every
and a bunch of
fish
other fish,
dead.
and a
This
goldfish.
Shark?
Yeah, a bala shark.
Not-
It was like a tiny.
I mean,
little,
yeah, we didn't have a fucking
tiny
great
little
white
fish
shark, bro. We're fucking
But
middle school.
we just had a bunch of fucking random fish we threw in a tank, and everything died. The shark killed almost everything, and then
Then Nancy
goldfish-
killed the rest.
The goldfish killed the shark, and then our cat killed the goldfish. So that was just the circle of life.
And
really
then
took its
there's
toll.
more.
Wow. Then you hung it up.
Then at my dad's, the nice government assisted living apartments, we would play in the ponds, and so I found a turtle, and I named him Frank the Turtle. And then we found another one, and Colton had found another one, but it was a bigger, like, aggressive turtle. And long story short, fast forward, his turtle killed my turtle. End of the story.
Oh my god.
I came home. Yes.
We had Frank for a while in his own tank.
Yes.
And he was awesome. He was a cute little painted turtle.
He-
and I
yeah.
found
Killed the
I found
Yes.
a big painted turtle.
because
like
he was
2
bigger,
times
like
the
more
size,
aggressive.
probably.
Like we didn't know.
And it was a big turtle, and we were like, oh, Yoshi, we're gonna add it with our other turtle. And so we added him in the tank, and
It was Frank
thought it
and
would be
Yoshi, like
fine.
Frank the Turtle, because there's like a book of like the turtle named Frank, and then Yoshi obviously.
yeah,
I don't know why that.
You know what? Yoshi kind of looks like a turtle.
Yeah, no, I get you, I
He has
get
a
you.
shell, but like,
Oh yeah.
but regardless, yeah, that was a big mistake because we liked Frank way more than Yoshi in general. And
You were just like, oh, a
I just
second
felt so
one. That's where I
bad.
fucked up.
Yeah, we were like, put the second
Got
one
my
in there
greedy
already.
ass.
Yeah, we got greedy.
My greedy ass, 2
That
turtles.
was-
Now you
that
got
was
the
like,
good one
nope,
killed.
No turtle. No
Yep.
turtles for you. So we released Yoshi because we just.
We were like,
we
okay,
couldn't
you're a
deal with that.
murderer.
You
Get out of my
You
sight.
killed Frank.
Get out of my
Killed
house.
Frank.
These kids can't be trusted with animals.
No.
But you're turning over a new leaf. What kind of fish are you planning?
Turning over a new
I
shell.
don't know, honestly. I'm excited to look. I think I might get a few like different like red and blue shrimp because I think that'll look cute in there, like on the grass, and then maybe.
I just think of the shrimp
some
from
other
Finding
fish.
Nemo. The bubbles. Like the French shrimp.
Yeah,
My
those
bubbles.
things are cute.
Yeah. My bubbles.
But yeah, I don't know if
You
fish.
gotta
I'm
watch
gonna
out. Don't get the
If
big
anyone's-
fish.
They're aggressive.
get. I
They'll
was
kill
not going
everything.
to. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was gonna say if anyone
so
has
cool,
recommendations,
though.
I've heard I should get like 4 of the same fish that are like schooling fish, so they kind of stay together and move like in a pack.
You should also get one
So
of like
that was
the little
the suckers.
the relicanth looking, like
Yes, I
exactly.
knew
They're
exactly
like
what you were
Pokemon.
gonna
Like
say,
it's a
yeah.
relicanth. They're like they're just like sucker fish. Like they're not puffer fish. So they're just like they eat
I
algae.
totally
Like they
forgot
just
what
like
they're
hang on
called,
like the
yeah.
glass and like eat the shit on the
They
bottom. They're
just
bottom
suck.
feeders.
They're
That's what they
super
are.
cute.
But they're not aggressive at all.
Those
They're
things
just like
will grow as big as you.
Yeah, they get
as big as
huge.
a tank you
Yeah,
let
they
them
get-
in.
they get
I
huge.
saw one at the fish store that's literally like over a foot long, and I was like, this thing looks like
A
it was living
monster.
at the bottom of like a Monsters Inside Me lake,
Oh my god.
or what's the River Monsters? is what
Yeah.
I would say Monsters Inside Me wouldn't be that big.
we went through the list. We covered obviously the 3 psychologist questions, right? For like your hobbies, who most influential person, and the 3 quirks.
Right.
That was everything on that list, right?
Yep. First
Okay,
questions.
and then you went. Did you have anything else besides the fish tank? Well, I know you did, but sorry.
That I'm specifically got on deck. Not if you got something to go then.
I mean, not really. I would just say, as of recently, I've just gotten into the gym, like more recently. I mean, obviously, you guys know I mentioned when I started getting more serious, just at least implementing some cardio, going for a run, doing, maybe I wouldn't do like 100 push-ups at once, but I would do like, okay, I'm going to do 20 or do as many until failure. Then, okay, I'm going to wait a minute or 2 minutes, then I'm going to do 20, 30 more, and like, I would just pretty much, it would equate to like, 100 push-ups, 100 squats, 100 crunches, and then I would like run about a mile. And I did that at least 2 to 3 times a week. And that was just like at home exercises, like not going to the gym. That's just what I wanted to do on my own. Because I knew that my roommate, you may know him in game as Master Yoko, but as his real name is Jack, he came, and I knew that motherfucker is a gym rat, so I needed to whip my fat ass into shape if I wanted to even come close to being able to keep up with him. So that's what I did, and thank God, because the gym has definitely been an acclimating period, but I'm glad it's not as hard as I thought it was going to be, and that's thankfully because I knew to start, like, not just go from being a couch potato and, like, do my only exercise being fucking my girl, but, yeah, so I knew to just get some shit done and, like, actually warm myself up before just throwing myself in the gym 4 days a week for 2 hours a session. But definitely got a lot of clarity and stuff. Like, I feel like it's good. I feel like a lot better. I've already lost 15 pounds in the last month. Like, and I got like
Really?
a long way.
You
Yeah.
lost 15 pounds?
When I got back from the guild trip, when I went to Michigan, I came back and I was like, yeah, I had fun, you know, ate a lot of good food, you know, had a good old ass time, but I looked and I was 205. That was the heaviest I've ever been in my life. And I saw that and I was like, this is unacceptable. Right then, I decided, okay, I'm punishing myself with what I eat.
Mass.
I'm immediately going to start working out like this week, no excuses, and that's what I did. That's when I started doing push-ups. And then, when I went to the doctor last week, I obviously got weighed, naturally, and I'm 190, and I'm sure the next time I go, I'm going to be even a few pounds lighter and leaner. So, yeah, I've been, you know, not to sit here and talk too much about myself and too much about health, but I think it's good. You not only feel more confident, you have more energy, your head is more clear. But, you know, I just think overall, like, health is wealth, is, you know, as stupid as that sounds. It's not even stupid. It's just,
it's absolutely
it's cliche,
true.
but it's just the truth. Like,
Sometimes the things
I don't
that
like
are most
preaching.
cliche are
Yeah,
true. They're
I don't
cliche
like
for a
preaching just as much as everyone else hates listening to it. But at the end of the day, like, some things are fucking correct. You know, health is important. Just because you hate hearing it, and I hate hearing it, and everyone hates hearing it, doesn't make it less true.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, you know, you gotta take care of your body.
I mean, I was making excuses for so long.
Longevity is the key. You know, it's like you take care of it now and make a consistent, like,
that's how I look at
effort
it.
to do it on a routinely basis for the rest of your life. Nothing crazy, but to stay in shape, you will thank yourself. I think of Jeff, the guy who lived right next to our grandpa, who was like a 75
doing crazy
Arnold
amounts of push-ups.
Schwarzenegger.
Like,
he would come
jacked for
over,
his
and he
age.
was our grandpa's best friend, and he would come over, and our dad was telling us, he was like, look at this guy. He was like, show him your push-ups. And this 75-year-old literally
busted out
like,
more than my dumbass can do in middle school.
He got down and did a one-arm push-up with his
that
right
guy.
arm, and then did a one-arm push-up with
Yeah.
his left arm.
He's
and he was
him,
like,
for real. He's
cut,
him.
jacked. So he was like, smoothies, a good diet, and working out. He's like, my whole life, loved it. I feel like I have no problem running, no problem doing anything. He's like, best decision I've ever made in my life.
That's amazing.
And it's like,
His pronouns are he, him, and is that guy, pal. Those are his fucking pronouns, because he is that guy.
But yeah, I'd like to
God.
get back into the gym like I was a couple years ago because I was consistent. But
And that's what I was going to bring up, which obviously you brought up right there, is the way that I thought of it is, at least when I saw, like, I was at my heaviest, I was like, okay, like, obviously that's scary, nerve-wracking, you know, this, that, and the other thing, but I was like, it only gets harder. Like, you can sit there and worry and make excuses or feel bad for yourself, or you could make the decision, like, I'm going to go to the gym tonight or tomorrow, like, and no if, that's, or buts. Like, that's what it takes to, like, fix that. You know what I mean?
Time only makes it more challenging.
And I was going to say, like, obviously the way I thought of it is, like, okay, I can, like, worry about this or make excuses or say I'm too busy and, you know, whatever it may be, but if I fix this now, it's going to be a million times easier to just maintain rather than, like, okay, I'm 30 years old, now I'm going to try to lose 80 pounds versus just, you know what I mean?
While
just being consistent with the gym. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
I think that's great, man. I mean, yeah, you guys have inspired me. I think we should all go.
I have a membership. You motherfuckers need to...
I have a membership.
I'll take you. How about this?
You
can come. I'm going tomorrow.
wait for the invite.
You want to go tomorrow?
Tomorrow?
I'm going tomorrow. So
Yeah.
if you're busy, I'm gonna be going 2 more times this
In the
week.
morning?
So no, after when I get off work.
Oh, okay.
But I might get off early. So I mean, I could be home at 1 o'clock. I could be home at 2 o'clock. We go
Alright,
pump
let
out
me
the
know.
gym. So
Let me know.
and it's in Woodstock. So the way I drive is 27 minutes if you go the speed limit. If you're a nice, you know, upstanding, civilized civilian, but I am not that. So I will get us there in 20 minutes.
All right, let's fucking do it.
Put on that.
Yeah,
ludicrous
I'm looking forward
speed
to it,
from
so.
Spaceballs.
What about
I
Spaceballs?
said you'll put on that ludicrous speed.
Ludicrous speed.
Spaceballs.
We gotta jam the radar. Drive the fucking jelly into the radar.
We've been jammed.
Yeah. Why is it so
Ludicrous
funny?
Spaceballs?
No,
They just say ludicrous speed.
These are
Oh,
they
right,
look 11.
ludicrous. Ludicrous.
Oh.
Yeah, that's so
I
funny.
was about to blow my mind for a second.
Yeah, holy shit.
Oh man.
I miss
No, different time.
the early 2000s
The Mel
area, the
Brooks
mid
era.
2000s, like Usher, fucking just all the OGs,
Chris Brown.
Chris Brown, just all the OG bangers.
Usher.
Yep.
Yeah, Usher's
Ludacris,
a great artist.
Ludacris, Nelly,
T-Pain.
Neo,
Neo,
T-Pain.
facts,
You
yeah.
can't leave out in my personal book Nelly, Neo, T-Pain. Those, in my opinion, were the early, like for me, my
Yes.
influential things that I loved was singing in the shower,
Big
was on the
facts.
radio. Like when I was a kid, those 3 motherfuckers could not be
On
ignored.
repeat.
I mean, they're all legends.
Yes.
Oh, legends in my eyes. Like I mean, and I'm not like a super like R&B like I liked that genre and I appreciate it. Like that's as a kid, like those are all the bangers that were coming out on the radio and shit.
Right.
So to me, those are really meaningful. But I know like if you ask today's kids, they don't even know who the fuck Nelly and Neo is, and like they're like yeah. So
yeah.
But yeah, I would love for you to come to the gym. The more the merrier, as you said
let's
earlier.
do it.
I was gonna say anytime you wanna stay close to home, if Belle's not trying to go, or it's like where you want to go at a different time, or like later at night or some
you
shit.
have the
After I
membership
go
at
work.
the one
Anytime
close
Wednesday.
by. Oh.
And I have the black card, so when you want to, let's say we go pump a workout, hit all the machines that they don't have at any time, then you can use, because I have the black card, you can use the spa too. So the hydro beds, if you want to hit the sauna, you want to hit, all that's free because I pay for the black card.
Yo, I would hit up the sauna.
I like the hydro beds. The hydro
so good for you.
The hydro beds are...
Steam it up.
Is that like a, what is the hydro bed?
So think
like
of
a water
think
bed
of like
that,
a bed. Think of a
massages
water
you.
bed, but it's like a motor in it, and it's like literally like think of a massage chair, but it's a bed, and it actually is really good.
Okay.
It's good.
Well, all that to say,
I think it was
workout, longevity, like
workout.
way to go.
I think
Look at health is wealth.
Health is wealth. Also, sometimes the unexpected, random, most spontaneous plans can sometimes turn out to be the best thing. So you guys should pursue that if you're listening. And then, is there any other thoughts, questions, concerns, comments, wisdom, anything we'd like to give?
Take time to spend with your friends, family, anyone who matters to you.
That as well.
Any time someone offers you like something you wouldn't normally do out of your comfort zone, be a yes man. Take them up on it, because you never know when a great time will happen, a great memory you'll make, or something that you might end up being really into that you never thought you'd find out.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, that's just the way that you build character, memories,
Connections,
and, just learn about.
You got to learn
the
from
world.
personal experience, and that's
A rich life. A rich life is the more people you meet, the more connections you have.
Go out there and do it. All right, y'all. It's the neighbors. Till next time.
It's been smooth.